which is defined as primary key. Okay, and we have seen, and we have also learned, like whenever we create a primary key column as part of a table, that particular column will have associated keys created here in SQL Server. In SQL Server Management Studio, we'll be able to see here, primary key demo is our table. We have created serial number as primary key. So as soon as this table is created in the database, if you go and verify, this table contains column information this way. And see, this column is having a different sign instead of other columns. So unlike other columns, this column serial number is having some different icon. Able to notice the difference, yes?
Yes,
Yeah, so there's a key symbol before this column. It denotes this column is a key column in this table. Okay. See here, after column name, what we are seeing is the letters PK, nothing but primary key. Okay. Now, under key section, we are seeing a key created, a key constraint. We used to call this one as a key constraint. It is called PK, primary key constraint. So this constraint takes care of exhibiting the behavior of not allowing nulls and not allowing duplicates. This is the constraint created on this column. This is called primary key constraint. What are other constraints that we have learned, guys? Not null.
unique key constraint.
Yeah,
Check.
unique key. Yeah.
Check
Check constraint.
constraint.
Default constraint.
Constraint.
Default constraint. Okay. So here this is primary key constraint. What is the nature of primary key constraint, guys?
It cannot allow duplicates and
Null values. Perfect. Okay. Now we'll go to actual constraints. So as our columns are not having any constraint, see here, key constraints will be created under keys section. And if you have any specific constraints like check or default, not null, those will be created under constraints section. Okay. Now I'm going to indexes section. So here in this index section, if you notice, we are having an index created. I told you, and see here, we'll discuss about index concept in detail. Okay. Um, but here, try to understand whenever we create a table with a primary key column, then the primary key column will be associated with a key constraint along with an index, a clustered index created. Index. What I told you is, what is the meaning of index, guys? Index. Index nothing but you just treat like it's a beginning page of your book. It contains information like which particular content, which particular chapter will begin from what page number, and that contains how many subsections. Like that, your index page contains. And if you want to reach out some specific page or some specific concept or some specific chapter, which reference we will take? First, we will take the help of index. We will go to that index. We will look at, okay, chapter 12. I'm looking for chapter 12, and chapter 12 available here in this particular chapter 12 starting from this particular page number. Okay, let's start. Let's start directly jump into that page instead of traversing through your book, starting from page number 1. Getting my point, guys? Like that, an index in database terminology will be created on top of primary key column data. On top of primary key column data. See here, whenever I say primary key column data, whenever we get such an error, what we have to do, guys? Invalid object name primary key demo, it's saying. What's the wrong thing here? What's going wrong here?
Change the database name.
Perfect. How to do that?
Use school database.
Not right execute. Yeah. Yeah. So what I said, an index will be automatically created on top of primary key column data in a table. When we create a table with a primary key column, an index will be created on the primary key column data. When we have created data for the first, when we try to create a table for the first time, that time, how many records will be there in a table base? As soon as we create a table, what will be the record count in the table?
Zero.
Perfect. Because we are just creating a schema. We are creating a structure. We are creating a table. What kind of statement this is? DDL or DML?
DDL.
DDL. Perfect. We are defining, we are constructing our database by by creating a new table in school database. We are constructing, defining our schema. Okay. So as soon as you create a table, it will have empty data. That means zero records data. Okay. After that, I mean, as soon as you create the table, this index will be created. And as soon as we start inserting data into our table, this index, treat index also one of the table, guys. I have shown you in the Excel file, right, earlier. So initially, your index file, it is also one of the table you treat, like index, nothing but one of the table. Okay. Index on which column, guys? Serial number column. Index data. Initially, as soon as table created, it will have zero data, empty data. Table creation, right? It will have nothing. Once first record got inserted, what happens, guys? First record gets inserted, it will look at which value. Index will index is more interested on which particular value in a row.
Serial number.
Either it can be serial number, roll number, but we have to say like primary key column. Okay. So whenever we insert a new record into this table, index is more interested on primary key column data. What is primary key column here in this row?
Serial number.
Serial number. And what is the data inserted for the first row? It is one
One.
ABC. One ABC. So value is one. Index value is one. Okay. So it will say index value is one. It will say, okay, it is there in page number one. It will be stored. This record will be stored in one page number. That page number will be stored here in this index. And if you create, or if you insert one more record, this record will be inserted. Okay. What is the primary key column value in this record?
Two.
2. Yes. So it will say 1 comma 2 available in page 1. As per your database memory management, there will be some understanding, like some configuration, like every page contains only 100 records. Okay. Now tell me, page 1 is allowed to hold how many serial number column values?
100.
100, right? Which is nothing but 1 to 100. And after that, if your table is getting populated with data through other insert statements, like for one, after 100 records, one more set of like 150 records got inserted. So now tell me, as per your database management, how many pages are required here to hold?
2 pages. New page.
Yeah, 101 to 200 in page 2, and 201 to 250 in page 3. So this way, the data is organized. After organizing, this way internally, your recast data is getting organized, guys. Not only this thing. See here, this is your actual table data, table record data. Yeah. So here, will be like page one, page one, page one. Internally, allocation will happen this way: page one, page one, page one. Yeah. And what we are saying, we are picking only these two values because this is my primary key column, and I want to know in which page it is available. I'm maintaining here. I'm coming here. I'm maintaining this here. This is my table data. Only uh, till this point. Only these 5 columns are my table data. And this is additionally maintained internally. Okay. So from
So
the,
I have a question.
yeah.
So do we define somewhere manually like page one will have
No,
only 100 records,
no.
page two will have only, or
No,
is,
it will,
is it fixed?
it is fixed with respect to each database. Individual databases will have their own configurations. Like right now, we are dealing with SQL Server, right? SQL Server have its own optimal configuration with respect to this.
Okay.
And Oracle and other databases like PostgreSQL, those will have their own internal management. Okay. Right now, we are working on SQL Server, right? It is specific to SQL Server. Okay.
So
So it,
by default, it is like whatever the database configuration is done based on that. We cannot
Yeah.
change it manually.
no, majority time like database administrator will take care of all those things.
Okay. Thanks.
We people termed as like SQL developers.
Mhm.
Okay. Good. So whenever as soon as we start inserting data, we will have our data organized in the form of pages. Okay. So that page reference will be maintained in the index table this way, because index will be created automatically whenever a primary key column is defined in a table. So internally an index will be built this way. And when you try to look for a record whose serial number is 134, so immediately your database engine will not come here to this table and look for 134 record data. Let's suppose this is 134. This is available in page. It is organized in page. So 134 record is available in your serial as in your table. What's the table name? Primary key demo table. Okay. Now, whenever we try to query using select, okay, let's suppose select are from primary key demo table where serial number equal to 134. If I say this, when I try to execute a DQL command or a select query like this, it will directly go to the index available on this table. Okay. The index is available on this table on which column data?
Serial number.
Yes, serial number, primary key column. Primary key column, nothing but serial number in this case. And we are querying our table data on basis of which column?
Serial number.
Serial number only. Here we are asking clearly, get me data from primary key demo table where serial number equal to 134. I'm interested in the data of a record whose serial number is 134. So I'm asking this. So serial number column is a primary key in primary key demo table and it is having index built. So it will directly go to this index. So here where 134 will fall?
Page 2.
Page 2, right? Here, page 2. Will fall under 130 page 2. So it will identify like 134 falls here in this range. So this range kind of data, this range serial number data available in which page? Page 2. It will go to in the memory, it will go to page 2. In the page 2, it will identify 134 record and this will be returned as response. Okay. So let's suppose your table having 1 million records. We do not have any index defined this way. Okay. When we execute this query, our database engine has to look for this particular record starting from first record until this 134 record is found. True or not? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. This 134 record may get encountered in the second record in the first place or third place or at the end of the table data or in middle of table data. That is not sure. Okay. So if it is at the end of the table data, unnecessarily our query execution time will be more, which have impact on the performance of our database. That's why index concept is introduced. Okay. Whenever a table created with primary key column and if that table is getting populated with the data, then the primary key column data will be organized in the form of index this way by having page number reference. And when we try to query our table data using the primary key column reference, then that index will be used to identify where that particular serial number values or primary key column values are falling and identify that memory page in the memory, and it will directly go to that page and it will try to search for that particular record. So let's assume every page contains only 100 records. Then in our case, with the index table, how many records we have to search for to get the 134 record?
2 pages.
Only one page, 100 records, right?
Yes.
Only one page. Because initially we are identifying page, not the data. We are identifying the page. In which page my serial number 134 data is available. And I said each page containing 100 records. So I have a identified page 2 is my page where I can find that 134 record, and each page contain only 100 records. So in page 2, I have to go through 100 records to identify 134. Okay. Let's suppose we do not have index concept available. Each page having 100 records, and we're having 3 pages with primary key demo table. Data is organized through 3 pages, and how many records across these 3 pages available? Each page 100 records, 3 pages, 3 into 100, 300 records. And to identify this particular record, how many records I have to traverse through? It is not sure. Either if it is available in page 1, immediately that will be written, or it is available in page 2, okay. Page 1 also, page 1 initially traversed, and after 2, in page 2 it will be identified. If it is available in page 3, first page 1, page 2, page 3, like that, you have to search for your record data. Okay, clear? We will we'll discuss about index concepts in detail, guys, when that particular when we reach our discussion at the particular point. Okay. Right now, I wanted to make you people understand whenever we create a table using a primary key column, what all are the internal things that database is getting managed? What are the things, guys? When we create a primary key column, that associate key constraint and indexes will be created automatically. And whenever we try to insert data into our table with a different order of our primary key column data, see here, in the first insert statement, I have used 1, and second insert statement as in 5, 3, 2, 4, 6, this way. Am I following a specific order here, like ascending or descending?
No.
I'm following some zigzag random order. Though I'm trying to insert my data in this fashion, but internally my data is getting organized this way. Why? Because, see here, in the ascending order of serial number column data, my data is getting organized. I have inserted record 1. After that, I have inserted 5, but it is not doing that. It is not organizing that data in the same manner that we inserted. Why it is sorting data internally as soon as it got inserted? Because it has to populate index table this way internally. To populate index table, your data needs to be there in the proper manner like this. 1 to 100 records when I say. So your first 100 records must have a sequential value like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 200. True or not?
Yes, sir.
True, sir.
Yeah. Good. So this is about primary key, guys. There is one more key that we'll discuss when we reach our joins discussion. Okay. Right now, primary key, unique key. You people are clear with this primary key and unique key. There is one more key which is called as like foreign key or reference key that we'll discuss when we reach the particular context. Okay. Right now, clear so far, everyone? If everyone clear, then I'll move on to next concept.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So far, what we have seen is we have seen creating table along with column names. What column names contain this? Data types. After that,
Constraint.
these are very basic things, yes, that everyone need to have full control on. Even if you're unable to understand bit complex concept as we going forward, that is okay. But whatever these things that we have discussed so far are very basic things, very core concepts that everyone need to have complete understanding on. Okay. So I think like everyone is clear, right? Whenever we create a table, we deal with all these things: column names, data types, and key columns, constraints or keys. Okay. So apart from this, we are having one more thing called as identity. Identity. In SQL Server, we are having concept called identity. See here, in my previous section, like when I created primary key demo table, I have defined serial number column as a primary key. And there is a possibility that data can be inserted into this table in this fashion by not following any order with respect to the primary key column data, which is nothing but serial number. Following me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whenever we create a table with a primary key column, and there are chances that the data in the table can be populated without following any order. with respect to primary key column data. In my case, serial number is a primary key column, and I have populated my primary key demo table using these insert statement where we haven't followed any order with respect to serial number column data. We have given some random values 1, 5, 3, 2, 4, 6. Okay. To avoid all this, it's like to avoid this issue, we are having a concept called identity. Identity. I'll tell you. So what this identity will do, when I can qualify my serial number column as a identity column. Identity column. Along with column name, data type, constraint or key, I can define my column. I can qualify my column as a identity column. Identity column. And here you can mention this identity mention. You can say my column values for this serial number table, serial number column have to start from 1 and they have to increment for every record by the counter 1. Okay. So I'll take this. It here. So here what I'll do, identity demo. I know serial number column is a primary key and I don't want people to insert data in the serial number column. Let the data in the serial number column need handled by database itself. No user interaction required. And other 4 columns data can be entered by users, but serial number column data will be handled by database itself. Okay. Here, what is additional thing they have added? At the column level, while creating table, at column level, I have qualified my serial number column as identity column. And identity property, this contains 2 parameters. First thing is with which value your table record has to start, and for each record, how many, what's the counter that you want to increment. See here, I'll create this table and I'll demonstrate, then you'll come to know what is happening here. I'm creating this table. What's the table name here?
Identity demo.
Identity demo. I'm executed. Done. It got executed. Now I'm going to same insert statements. Now tell me guys, what is the minimum column count I have to take here to insert a record? How many null columns are there?
One column is mandatory. Name.
Serial number and name are mandatory because serial number is a primary key. Anyway, no nulls are allowed. Name is not null. We have explicitly qualified name column as not null, so nulls are not allowed. So we have to use mandatorily these 2 columns in the query, and other 3 columns where age is qualified as a null null allowed column, and the rest of 2 columns like city and other are not qualified with any constraint. What does it mean? By default, null values are allowed. Okay. See here. I'm trying to use the same first insert statement which we have used in the case of primary key demo. I'm trying to insert into identity demo. I'll do one thing, guys. I'll remove this column. Table. I've executed this. Now I'll have my table section updated with identity demo. Yeah, see here. Serial number is primary key, and see here keys. Primary key. No constraints. Index created. Identity demo. Okay, and see here. I'm trying to insert data into identity demo by using 2 mandatory columns because these 2 columns are not allowed with null value. I'm trying to insert. What's saying is we're getting an error. What's saying cannot insert explicit value for identity column in the table identity demo when identity insert is set off. What it's saying, you are not allowed to insert data into serial number column, because serial number column is defined as identity column. So we will take care of inserting data into this identity column. So simply we have to remove that identity column from your insert statement and remove the values. I am inserting data. See here, it got inserted. And go and see identity demo. What the output, guys? One record which we have inserted a while ago, the name ABC, and age and city columns are nulls. And serial number, have we given the serial number, guys?
No.
No. From where it got populated?
Identity.
Identity has taken care automatically. What does it mean? How it has taken care? What we said, initial value needs to be 1. After that, you increment that value by 1. What does it mean? Initially 1. Increment it by 1. What does it mean? What is the next value?
2.
2. And if you increment 2 by 1, what happens? 3.
3.
Like that, for each record, this counter 1 will be added. And this is beginning value. Getting my point? And see here. The second insert statement, I'll say BCD is 10. Hyderabad, let's suppose. I'm trying to insert this. Is this insert statement correct, guys?
No,
What is wrong with this statement?
we have not provided the column names.
Perfect. We haven't provided columns. What is
The
it?
earliest thing we have provided, whereas we have provided only one name,
Okay. Thank you. What is it?
Satish.
Included primary key column here in the insert statement?
No,
No. Okay. Good. Now we will try to insert on row affected. Perfect. And we'll try to see the data. Yeah. See here. See now. What happened? Here, record got inserted. After that, second record is also inserted with this insert statement, but we haven't provided primary key column in the column class as well as values class. But a data value 2 is inserted into serial number column. Clear, guys? How it happened? It happened because of identity. Okay. Yes, let me save this session identity column, and let me take out this paint screen. Here is it is happening, though we haven't mentioned primary key column here. Data getting inserted or populated in the serial number primary key column through identity. Okay. This way. Okay, guys. So we haven't used primary key column in the insert statement. Data of that column is getting managed by database itself through identity. Remember this. Okay, guys. See here, we haven't used primary key column here. Identity 1, 1. What does it mean, guys? First one is for
Starting
start
from
value.
one and incrementally.
Second one. Now, I'm having a question here. I want to have my each record primary key value like 1, 5, 10, 15, 20 like that. Then in the identity property, what I have to change?
1, 5. Increment value.
Only increment counter we have to change. The second one. Okay. And now, are we allowed to, once we define our column with identity property, once we define column with identity property, we are not allowed to insert data into this column explicitly. Explicitly. We'll get an error. We have seen. See here. I'll try to mention column. What happened? I'll say 1 XYZ. Let execute this. I'm getting an error. See, we're getting an error. What is an error? Cannot insert explicit values for the column serial number. This will get error. Okay. Here, guys. It's clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Yes. Now, I want to discuss about, after this, I want to discuss about this. Yeah. Okay, good. So, what is the hierarchy, guys? Database side? What is the topmost thing? Database server. Database server. After that, inside that, what we'll have?
Databases.
We'll have different databases. Inside each database,
We have tables.
we will have tables, and inside each table, what we'll have?
Rows and columns.
Table, data in the form of rows and columns. Okay, data in the form of rows and columns. And how we organize data, guys? In the form of rows and columns only. Okay, and what all are the kinds of queries that are available to deal with the table creation or data manipulation or fetching data? What are the statements, guys? DDL, DML, DQL.
DQL.
DQL. We have DML, DDL, DQL. What are the DDL statements? We have seen data
Create.
definition like create, alert, drop. We have seen this. We have created a table, we have dropped a table, we can alter a table. We have already seen alter table, add column, modify column, column data type, drop column, and DML statements. We have seen insertion statement, delete statement. We have seen. We'll see all these statements in detail also going forward. And finally, DQL. What is DQL, guys? Selecting data available in your table. Okay. And this way, whenever we create a table, internally a table will be organized this way: table name and columns in a separate section, and the primary key columns will be given with this icon, and other columns will have this icon, and primary key related key columns, key constraint will be created under key section, and all other constraints will be created under constraint section. See here in your table creation statement, we are having how many constraints, guys?
3 constraints.
What are those?
Primary key constraint and
Two
constant.
one check constraint.
Yes.
One check constraint again is in pin code columns. Okay. See here. That's why those constraints are created here under constraint section in your management studio. Okay. So this way a table data will be organized. Okay. So we are almost done with the basic discussion, guys, like how a table can be created, and while creating table, what all are the things that needs to be considered, like column names, data type, and their key constraints or other constraints, and as well as identity constraint we have seen. Okay. And remember, identity constraint is only for numeric columns, guys. Okay. It's only for numeric columns. Clear? Everyone clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's all, guys. I'm having a meeting to attend, and I'll come back at Power BI session at 6 p.m. Okay. So I'll share all the details in our group. And from tomorrow, we'll have all our discussions getting speed up, guys, because all the basic basic information that everyone need to have, that we have discussed now so far, all these 12 sessions. Okay. From tomorrow onwards, we'll speed up our discussions, because you will also see the easiness, like understanding those concepts. Okay. Different ways of selecting data, how to filter the data while selecting. Okay. And adding different conditions on different columns, and each column can be a different data type, right? Okay. And an individual different column data type, what are kinds of filters that we can apply, like that, we'll start learning from tomorrow. Okay. And you'll be having more executive session going forward from tomorrow in SQL. Okay. Fine, guys. Thank you. Thanks for time. Meet you at 6 p.m.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.